Hello dear students, this is the third video lecture of light reaction series. Please watch the previous videos first because this is in continuation with the first and second videos. So let's see the process of cyclic electron transport and photophosphorylation in detail now. We are going to study the second photochemical process that is taking place in chloroplast, that is cyclic electron transport and accompanying photophosphorylation. In contrast to non-cyclic electron transport, here only a single pigment system is involving. Here this cyclic electron transport is somewhat simple compared to non-cyclic electron transport. So here only a single pigment system is involving, that is PS1. Here PS2 is not involving in non-cyclic, cyclic. Here only PS1 is involving or taking part. So that is one important feature. And another important thing is here from the scheme itself it is clear, here the path of electron is cyclic. Path of electron is cyclic. Here electron ejected from PS1, it is returning back to the same position. That is why, because of the cyclic path, the electron transport or electron flow is known as cyclic. So let's see what happens here. Here PS1, we know here it is not written, but still you should know it is P700, that is the reaction center of PS1. So when you write a scheme, you should write here P700 because P700 is the reaction center here. So the P700 of PS1, when it is excited by photons of light, it is excited to high energy level and it releases electrons. The excited P700 molecule releases the extra energy carrying electron, and these electrons are first accepted by the same compound ferredoxin reducing substance that we have mentioned earlier while explaining non-cyclic electron transport, ferredoxin reducing substance. And from ferredoxin reducing substance, electrons are moving to ferredoxin. So up to this position, the steps are similar in both cyclic and non-cyclic. So from PS1 to ferredoxin, the steps are same in both cyclic and non-cyclic. So from ferredoxin, electron has two options, either to go back to NADP plus. Here look into this scheme also. Here from this position, from ferredoxin, electron has two options, either go to NADP plus to reduce NADP plus and form NADPH. Otherwise, if it follows this path, it will become non-cyclic. If it is not so, there is another option, just return back to PS1 through a series of electron carriers. So that is happening here. So here from ferredoxin, electrons are moving back to PS1 through a series of electron carriers. And which are the electron carriers? These electron carriers are we found in non-cyclic also in between PS2 and PS1. They are cytochrome B6F complex, cytochrome B6F complex, cytochrome B6, cytochrome F, plastocyanin. And through these electron carriers, these electrons are passing a downhill movement and returning back to pigment system 1. So this is cyclic electron transport. This is very simple, and during this downhill movement, one important process occurs, that is during this downhill movement of electron, the excess energy. Now ferredoxin is actually possessing high energy electron. So this extra energy of electron, it is released at two particular positions, that is in between ferredoxin and cytochrome B6 and in between cytochrome B6 and cytochrome F. In these 2 points, this excess energy is released and utilizing this excess energy, ATP is synthesized. So ATP synthesis takes place at two places in cyclic electron transport. So this is all about cyclic electron transport. This is very simple. This process is so simple compared to non-cyclic. And one more important thing here, this cyclic electron transport lacks photolysis of water, thereby no NADPH formation and no oxygen evolution. So these are the points regarding or the particular features regarding cyclic electron transport. Here photolysis of water is not taking place, and also no NADPH formation and no oxygen evolution. Since these two processes are directly linked with photolysis of water, and also these two processes are connected with the pigment system 2 also. That is why here pigment system 2 is not involving. So that is why these processes are lacking, and here only pigment system 1 is involving, and the path is also cyclic. And what is the important thing that happens in cyclic electron transport is ATP synthesis, that is photophosphorylation, and this ATP synthesis takes place at two places, in between ferredoxin and cytochrome B6, and in between cytochrome B6 and cytochrome F. So this is the cyclic electron transport and photophosphorylation. So here this photophosphorylation occur in connection with cyclic electron transport. That is why the name cyclic photophosphorylation. Okay. We found that photolysis of water and thereby NADPH formation, oxygen evolution, etc. never takes place in cyclic electron transport. ATP formation alone takes place. So, what's the purpose of cyclic electron flow inside chloroplast? Is there any role or purpose for cyclic electron transport? Let's see. Here, it's clear cyclic electron transport takes place during certain situations where the activity of PS2 is blocked by some light of wavelength greater than 680 nanometer or by some inhibitors. So it is very much clear up to ferredoxin, from PS1 to ferredoxin, the path is or the steps are similar in both cyclic and non-cyclic. So here this is a combined representation of cyclic and non-cyclic. Here the colored areas represent cyclic, the other one non-cyclic. So here up to ferredoxin the steps are same. So when electron reaches ferredoxin, now it has two options. Either goes to NADP plus and become NADPH, or return back to pigment system 1. So two options are there. So this process, in order to occur this process, H plus should be supplied from photolysis, which is occurring by the activity of pigment system 2. So inside the chloroplast, if any inhibitor compounds inhibit pigment system 2, or sometimes P680 will be inhibited by some higher wavelength radiations, or in some situations happen which block the activity of pigment system 2, thereby photolysis, etc. So in such situations, cyclic electron transport takes place as a bypass process, so by which electrons are returning back to PS1 itself, and it will produce 2 ATP molecules. So that may be one purpose. And another important function served by cyclic electron flow is non-cyclic electron transport and photophosphorylation does not produce sufficient number of ATP to operate dark reaction of photosynthesis. Here 18 ATP and 12 NADPH molecules are needed for synthesizing one glucose molecule in dark reaction. So if only non-cyclic electron transport is operating, equal amount of ATP and NADPH will be producing. So this will lead to a deficiency in ATP molecules. So this deficiency in ATP molecules is made up by operating cyclic electron flow along with non-cyclic electron transport. So this is another suggested function of cyclic electron flow. Cyclic electron flow also provides ATP for synthetic processes, other synthetic processes taking place in chloroplast like synthesis of starch, proteins, pigments, etc. So these are the suggested functions of cyclic electron flow in chloroplast. So let's compare cyclic and non-cyclic electron flow occurring in chloroplast. This is very important. So just revise the points that we have studied under cyclic and non-cyclic electron transport, and we are going to compare both processes. So the first point, cyclic electron transport involves only pigment system 1, and in non-cyclic both pigment systems, both PS1 and PS2 are involving. The second point is regarding the path of electron. As the name indicates, cyclic electron transport involves a cyclic electron flow in which electrons are cycled back to their original position. But in non-cyclic, the electron flow is non-cyclic. Here electrons are never cycled back to their original position. But they are used up somewhere. The next point, in cyclic electron transport, photolysis of water and evolution of oxygen do not take place. But photolysis of water and evolution of oxygen take place in non-cyclic electron transport. NADPH is not formed in cyclic electron transport, but NADPH is formed in non-cyclic electron transport. Photophosphorylation or ATP synthesis takes place at two places in cyclic electron transport, but photophosphorylation takes place only at one place in non-cyclic electron transport. So this is very important. I think all of you understood the differences between cyclic and non-cyclic electron transport. So study well. So let's conclude what we learnt about light reaction in the previous videos also. Light reaction is the first stage of photosynthesis which possesses light dependent photochemical reactions for converting solar energy into chemical energy in the form of ATP and NADPH, which are further used as fuels in light independent reactions, that is dark reaction, for the formation of sugar molecule. Here two different photochemical processes are taking place, non-cyclic and cyclic electron transport, and ATP synthesis also accompanying with this electron transport, and it is known as photophosphorylation, non-cyclic and cyclic photophosphorylations. And photolysis of water, it is another important step in light reaction which results in the evolution of molecular oxygen also, which helps in the sustenance of life on Earth. So I think everybody understood well about the process of light reaction. So now it's the time to revise. Here are some questions and you all try to answer them. Where does light reaction take place? It is in the thylakoid or grana portion of chloroplast. Which molecule acts as proton donor or hydrogen donor during light reaction in higher plants? It is water. Name the assimilatory powers produced in light reaction. It is ATP and NADPH. Reduction of NADP plus takes place during dash electron transport. It is during non-cyclic electron transport. Name a water-soluble photosynthetic pigment. That is phycobilin. Which mineral ions are needed as cofactors for photolysis of water? It is manganese and chlorine. Which mineral ion is needed for the synthesis of chlorophyll molecule? The answer is magnesium. Which pigment acts as reaction center in photochemical reactions? That is chlorophyll A. Name the source of oxygen released during photosynthesis. Water. So that's all about light reaction. I hope all of you understood well about the process of light reaction. Next day I am coming with dark reaction slides. Thank you dear students. Bye.